Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. As part of our coverage for ATX Television Festival Season 8, I was lucky enough to sit down with Stephen Rannazzisi. I don't do so well pronouncing that name at the start of the interview, and I hope you enjoy my screw-up. He was a great guest. We had a fun conversation about the league reunion and more, and I hope you have fun listening.
So I'm Les from the TV Dudes, and I'm sitting here with Stephen Rannazzisi. Fucked it up right after
Right
you
out of
told
the
me.
gate, dude.
I know.
We just had the conversation.
We just talked about
Smith.
this. See, the Z's are silent, and nobody knows
All
that.
of them.
It should be a PSA.
Don't even worry about it. It's Rannazzisi. It's not that easy. Rannazzisi.
It almost rhymes with it, though.
It does.
And of course, you play Kevin.
Yes.
On the league.
Much easier name to pronounce.
Yes.
Kevin McCarthy.
This many years on from when you first came on board that show, do you remember what kind of show did you think you were getting into? Did you have the tone of the comedy down when you first kind of saw the treatment scripts of it? Or?
I mean, I'd just done a couple of network pilots back to back. Some of them had worked out for a couple episodes. Most of them didn't work out at all. So I just knew the people that I was working with on the show were really, really funny, and that it was different because it was cable and they would let us do what we wanted to do. And for me, it was like I didn't really see much of an outline or a script before I signed on to do it. I kind of got these improvised scenes at the audition, and I made the situations were funny, and so I was like, oh, this if this is what we're doing, this is going to be great. And so when we got to the pilot, that's when I knew. I was like, oh, everyone on this is super sharp, and we're all making each other laugh. So I think it'll resonate.
The production bubble of the show is kind of unique. The chefers getting to really run it and just kind of make what you wanted. No writer's room particularly. Did that kind of spoil you on other shows? Did you find that a better way to work?
I'm not great at memorizing lines anymore. I was never really great to begin with, but now it's like I can get the gist of what you want me to say down. That's what this show taught me, how to get the gist of it down. But yeah, I think this was fun because it was a real conversation. The back and forth and cutting each other off and talking over each other. That's the way people do it. And then having the ability, but it's tiring too, in the same as because like after 12 hours, with a script, at least you go, all right, well, you know what? I still have to pour myself into it, but I'm still I know the words. I don't know what's going to happen. We didn't know what each other were going to say to each other, so you always had to very much be on your toes. And that was tiring after a while, long days and stuff. But for me, it's been my favorite way to work, and it's probably the most fun I've had on set. So.
Do you remember any particular days? I can't imagine trying to stay present, stay fresh when your co-stars are cracking you up that much. Did you have any days where you thought, I'm going to ruin this scene, I'm not going to be able to keep it together?
I called Jeff and Jackie. I don't even know if second season, we were in Las Vegas shooting, and that's when Mantzoukas joined the crew. And he was just a force like I had never seen before. And I called Jackie and Jeff at one point. I go, I don't know if I can hang with these guys. I think I'm bringing this show down. And so they were like, no, you're doing great. Just have fun with it. Just like, you'll find your niche. Like with Rafi, it's tough to find your niche. But, Jason's just such a great performer. We found our thing together. He just called me tall guy, and that was it. And it was over after that. It was just sort of, it was fun to do. But yeah, I did feel a little bit out of my element for a while because these guys are the funniest people in the world. And
did you have any particular jokes where you saw the treatment and thought, oh my God, how are we going to make that work?
Yeah, a couple times. I mean, making breast cancer funny is like going to be a tough thing to try to, and I got that. We got that one. There's a couple times where you kind of, all right, here we go. Watching my kids' friends watching me and Jenny have sex, playing hide and seek. You're like, ooh, all right. But, the awkwardness of the situation, it always played out well in the scenes. But yeah, those were the times where you're like, oh my God, I don't know, what are we doing here? What are we making?
There are so many catchphrases from the show and so many jokes that people love. What's the oddest one that still just gets randomly yelled at you on a Tuesday?
Fear boner. Well, Shiva for me would be the first thing, but then the first, like, Shiva is something you can yell in public and a couple people will turn their heads. But when you scream fear boner from across a room at someone else, it's going to get attention. And it, 10 years later, continuously happens to me. So, thank you, Jeff and Jackie, for that.
Yeah, you can thank the leader.
I remember Jeff being like, Jeff, what is this? He goes, do you ever get scared and get an erection? And I was like, no, I don't think so, but I could see how it could be funny.
Yeah.
We'll make it funny.
Yeah, I'm amazed at things that I know originated on that show that seem to just be in language now, like Eskimo Brother.
Yeah.
And have there been any jokes that really surprised you with how that, like Fear Boner, with how they connected, where you read it and went, do a lot of people have that? Is that a thing?
Yeah, Eskimo Brother for me was one. I was like, this has got to be already a thing, right? I'm like, that seemed to be a...
Yeah, we've thought of this before, right? Yeah.
And almost like we had, like, I'm sure if there wasn't, there is now some sort of website that you can go to find out if you can connect with someone else. You know what I'm saying?
There's probably an Ancestry.com for this.
Right?
Yeah.
If there isn't, there will be. But
yeah, this interview's going to start that.
Hey, Sharks, it's me.
Right.
I remember Eskimo Brothers would be like, whoa, this sounds like a thing that should already be a thing that we should all know about. But yeah, no, Jeff just kept coming up with these little things that he found funny. Him and his buddies from school, most of them, and it was awesome to work with him.
Yeah. Am I correct that you have a background in stand-up?
Yeah, that's what I still do, yeah.
What was it like learning, honing that muscle of being funny, you on stage working a crowd, versus that muscle being funny in front of a camera? Like you said, at the end of a long day, when you can't look tired, you got to seem fresh.
Yeah, it's tough to do. I will say this. Improvising with a crowd was a good tool to keep you good, like constantly with your head in the game, thinking about what's next, what can I, being in the moment. But it's like I said, like even after I would do a long day, I couldn't go do stand. Like some nights I couldn't go do. I would go do stand up, but I couldn't be able to talk to the crowd. I would just do my jokes because I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody else anymore. I just want to like almost just get this out. And so being a stand-up was great to prepare you, obviously, to be funny. I had done a lot of acting before, so I think most problem with stand-up is that they don't really know how to interact with everyone. They're just kind of waiting for their line, like, when do I get to talk? Talk. Now it's my turn. And so, but being able to be funny and kind of try and have different alts, that's what we do well. So that's why I was like, oh, this is going to be great. But daunting at the same time.
Do you have anything from the show that still pops into your mind and still cracks you up?
If I need to just get a quick laugh, there's a couple things I could just think about. I could think about Nick Kroll and I cross-examining Paul Scheer in Kevin's garage during the Expert Witness episode, and just asking him all the questions we've ever wanted to ask him, and find those answers out, and accuse him of lying, and try to pin him down on stuff he didn't do. I could laugh every time I could think of John LaJoie coming out the window as the McGiblets the first time we ever saw him. And Rafi in the Woods with my father-in-law episode. That I could, because I can laugh thinking about the night we shot that, because that might have been one of the funnier nights that I've ever laughed in my life.
Just the filming of it?
Just the filming of it, and just Jason. I mean, his character is now in the woods and it's alone, so it's like there truly is nothing he could not say. You know, like what the things that he ate, the things that he did, the things that he killed. You know, like every time, the sounds he was listening to in the woods. Like every time we would ask, because you know we like, hey, oh, you gotta hear what I was listening to, and then of course you couldn't just let that go. Paul would be like, what were you listening to? And then it was just something horrifically funny, one after a different thing after a next different thing. So that night, I remember being like, Corbin Bernsen was in an episode, and he was like, you guys are fucked up.
Talking to Jeff earlier, he mentioned Mantzoukas always having Vandersloot in his back pocket to pull out of like if Rafi needed to say something random.
Yeah.
And then half the time, like, no, we're not doing Vandersloot. We're not. Talk about how hot your sister is. And Did you have anything for Kevin that was your go-to? My character's into this, and if I'm in a pinch in an improv moment, Kevin could talk about blah.
Well, let me think. Yeah, I think Kevin would always go. I'm trying to think of a scene with Jenny, because it was almost like Kevin had two. I always had scenes with Jenny, and I had a different. I was almost like I leaned on her a lot, and when in front of the guys, I kind of like I'm my own man. I do things my own, but so it was. When I was around them, I would lean on that. I'm like, I'm my own man. I'm confident, but it totally played out that I wasn't. And then in front of her, it was just like, I need you to help me. Yeah. And you, come on, we're a team. As soon as you sign that contract to be with me forever, we're a team. So I always went to like, help me, please. You have to help me. And whatever that was, I was like, I need you to do this for me. And whatever that requires, please do it for me. So
I feel like quite often you got a joke out of just those two, that dichotomy. There would be scenes where you'd be so like, I got this, guys, I'm going to go do this, and blah, blah, blah. And then the next scene would be you looking at Jenny going, I need you to do this.
That was, I mean, it was fun. It was to have those moments where I can play that bravado and be like, oh, I'm my own man, and then being able to turn it around and being like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a ship lost at sea, and I need you to help me. I love because that's how you really feel that way in life, especially my relationship with my wife and stuff. It's like I think I know what I know, and then I don't know anything, and I want to know what you think about it. So yeah, I loved playing that, and playing with Katie was so much fun to do. I think for the guys, it's more like I would always try to. Making fun of Andre was one of the easiest things you could ever do, what he was wearing and things like that. But I was always trying to jam football references into things. So I would always lean back on sports banter and stuff. And that's why it makes me think about like the years since we've been done, like all the stuff that's happened in the NFL and even just in pop culture and stuff. I always send texts around to each other, like, like not like, but like 3 or 4 lines of like what dialogue would be
if we were still doing
this now, that kind of stuff. It'd be fun.
I think a reunion movie would be great.
Oh, sure.
Wouldn't reopen the can of worms on the series again. We'd just let you get in some fresh jokes and then out.
Just kind of pop in on everything that's happened, the state of the NFL, the state of the world, according to the league. That'd be fun. Yeah.
Man, thank you so much.
No worries, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's fun to do. Cheers.
Yeah.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Permanent Record Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, please go to patreon.com/TVDudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter at TV Dudes, and help us out on iTunes by giving us a 5-star rating and writing a review. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and permanentrcrd.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.